Hi, Karen. How are you? Oh, hello. How are you? I'm gonna wait just a couple more minutes to see if we get some more people struggling in. Enjoy my nice fresh ice water. All right. Hopefully you're doing well. You'll have to tell me if you are going to be going to Nashville for leadership. Let's go back to my Zoom. Yay, that is so fun. Are you currently in Nashville? I can't remember. I know that you're a lot closer to Nashville than I am. I will be watching from my home. It's not that I wouldn't love to go to Nashville again. I am actually going on a cruise with my parents, and I will get back like that Saturday, the 24th, and I would have to literally like turn right back around and just be gone again. And I don't know that I can do that. All right, we're gonna wait 2 more minutes. I had quite a few people say they were coming, so I'm hoping there's a few more people on. Not that I don't love having it be. You're staying 20. Remind me where you're from. Let's see. Is that Tennessee? Lebanon, Tennessee. That is awesome. Okay, well, we are going to go ahead and get started. I guess I can show my video. So I'm actually going to you invited 5 people tonight. You're so awesome. Well, we'll have a recording that you can send to them. So I'm in my room. Sometimes I like to work in my office. Sometimes I like to work in my room. And tonight's one of those nights that I'm like, working in my room sounds really great. Because my internet connection is unstable. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. I will go ahead and record this, and then you can send this along to the people who aren't able to make it. Let's see. Why can't I find where to? Oh, it's already recording. Okay. Well, welcome to tonight's 101 class. So this is like my favorite class ever to teach, and I'm just doing it from the comfort of my own home in my room at my house. I don't know if you can see, but I overlook, oh, you can't see very well, but I overlook Salt Lake City, and I just have the best view. And then the view out this window, if it's daytime, is the mountains. And it is just so nice. I love it. So this is like my happy spot in my house. It's just really nice and mellow, and I can mostly keep my kids out. So I just wanted to talk about essential oils and why I love them so much. So I'm going to go ahead and just start sharing my screen so that you can see it. And one thing that I always love to tell people when we do this class is that you have choices. And, it's interesting how the evolution has occurred just with teaching this class for me. It used to be that modern medicine was so bad and so wrong, and you just needed to use oils. But, I really like the fact that we can use these together, because there are absolutely times when we do need modern medicine. And it's nice. I like to call this complementary medicine. And that being said, I would much prefer to be able to use oils or natural solutions than other things. But I just know that there is definitely times where you do need both. That being said, if you are using oils, you are going to experience far less in the way of side effects. Oh, we have Robin on. Hello, Robin. So good to see you. Glad you're able to join us.
Yeah.
Are you new to oils, or have you used them before?
Maybe I'm here.
There you are. Oh, Um, just talking about oils and how that I like that you can use these with modern medicine. It doesn't have to be one or the other, and it doesn't have to be us versus them and good versus bad. It can be, hey, you know what? My hands look giant as opposed to the rest of my body. Oh, we have some people popping on. Awesome. It doesn't have to be us versus them or good or bad. We can use them as both, but it's nice not to have side effects. In fact, whenever I travel, I'm going to turn on my little Valentine's light. So it looks like we have the red light special going on in our room. My neighbors are probably like, there's those red lights again, glowing from their window. So I always have my oils with me. And obviously doTERRA has quite a few more oils than this, but whenever I travel, I always have this pouch because these are my basics that I just can't be without. So I love that when I'm using oils, I'm not going to have side effects. I feel very confident in using them both on myself and my kids. Even my grandma. I went and saw my grandma yesterday. She's 93, and I feel very confident using them on her. And I know that they can save me a lot of money, which is huge. Like, I'm all about saving money. So I really like that I can use these words. When you use modern medicine, it's like, what kind of side effects are we going to have? What's going to happen? I have to go to the doctor to get it. And like I said, sometimes we need it. So we can use these together and they can totally coexist. So I love essential oils because they're very effective. They're very safe. So the very first picture that you can see, I'm circling it with my mouse right now, or my cursor, is a peppermint leaf. So when you think of a peppermint leaf, I always think of this nice leafy green scalloped thing. And I can almost smell the peppermint even just when I think about a peppermint leaf, as I just smell that smell and I'm like, oh, that smells so good. But they actually have a magnified picture of that peppermint leaf, and it shows you the essential oil sacs that are on there, which is really awesome. So those oils can be, yes, this will be recorded. Just answer this real quick. Yes, this will definitely be recorded. There's those little essential oil sacs on that plant. And that's how, like, if doTERRA wants to extract peppermint oil from a plant, they're getting it from those little sacs. And doTERRA does, most of the time, they do steam distillation. And they work with the latest and greatest technology. They work with scientists that really are going to help them get the best quality of the oil possible. They do a lot of really good things to help so that that you're getting a good quality of essential oil. One of my favorite things about oils is that they're comprised of hundreds of different compounds. So like if you were to look at the back of a medicine, like whether you're looking at ibuprofen, and I took ibuprofen today, you guys, full confession, like I do on occasion take medications. There's like one active ingredient in it. Well, oils have like 50 to 200. So what that means is that they can be good for so many different things. I'll never forget teaching a class years ago when somebody made the comment, okay, well, so I've heard lavender is good for sunburns. I've heard it's helpful for calming you. It's really good for helping you sleep. And it's really good for just relaxing. Who's right? And I said, everybody's right, because there's so many compounds in the oils that they can be used for so many different things, which is amazing. And they work with your body to help your body fix whatever it is that's going on. And it's so affordable. I know it says right on this sheet, pennies per dose. And I know that sometimes when purchasing oils, there can be some sticker shock and you're thinking, well, this bottle of peppermint that's only yay big is actually digested, but how is this $24 or $25? And it's because a little bit of oil goes a really long way. If you're using a bottle of medication, you're going to be pouring a full teaspoon out, or you're going to be taking 4 or 5 pills or whatever it is. But with these oils, you may be doing something as simple as putting your hand just on the head of the oil, dumping it over and getting a little bit that you can just rub on the back of your neck or rub on your stomach. And that can be a full dose because it's so potent. It's safe, but it's very potent. So it's very, very affordable. I mean, these oils, I don't have to replace them. It's not often, like my travel oils. I've been using these same oils for a long time, probably a couple of years, because I only take these when I travel. I have my oils at home, but they last forever and they do get used. So very affordable to use because it lasts forever. And like I showed you, you're just using a tiny little bit. As far as the standard of doTERRA, it's been interesting over the last 15 years that I've been involved with doTERRA. In 1 week, it will be my 15th anniversary of being with doTERRA. And it's interesting to see all the new oils that have popped up. doTERRA was by no means the first company, but it's been interesting to watch other people join in on the industry. And you can go to any grocery store now, Target, Costco, Walgreens, and there's going to be essential oils there. And they all claim to be pure and like unadulterated and like that they would help you, which of course is so silly because there's no way that they're going to have the quality that doTERRA has. Because, over the last 15 years, I've had the opportunity to go firsthand to some of these farms that use these oils and to see how exactly they're used and how exactly they're farmed and distilled. And this is like a huge process. And then they have a rigorous testing that they go through to make sure that there's no plants, weeds, fillers, anything like that in them, that these are just pure unadulterated oils. And even if you've had the opportunity to go to doTERRA's campus, they still have, they have millions of dollars of equipment that is dedicated just to testing the quality of oils. So you know that you're getting a good quality, which is so important. Nowadays it's just interesting. They just released something last week that plastic water bottles are causing massive problems because there's so many plastics in them that are getting into our body and causing massive problems. So it's like, when you're ingesting something or using it on your body, you want to make sure it's pure and it's clean. And so that's why I really like these oils. I'm a thirsty girl. I'm training for a marathon right now. And even if I'm not training for a marathon, I'm always very active and I'm still running. I sweat so much. Like literally I can wring out any part of my clothing and it just water drips into the sink. So my body is like, I need water all the live long days. But one thing I like to add to it, and this is going to go right into our next section, is how to use the oils. I like to put oils right into my water. In fact, I do very regularly do that. Especially because I can be prone to things like UTIs. I was going to see if I have lemon in here. I found my peppermint. Good news. I don't have lemon in here, but I love to put citrus in my oils because it's really detoxifying to my body and it will help me fight a UTI, which is really nice because I can be prone to those and I can get those. But I like to add water or oils to my water just because it's detoxifying. It adds some flavor to it. And it's actually really good for me. So you'll notice, if you were to look at this in terms of the first way to use them is aromatic. The second way is topical. The third way is internal. Internal is what I'm going backwards right now. Internal can be really good just to add a few drops to your water, just to help you feel refreshed. It can be really good for your immune system. I don't know how often I travel and I get there and I'm like, oh boy, I'm not feeling well. Where's my On Guard? In fact, as I'm looking at this, I'm realizing somebody has rated this and I can't find my On Guard. So I'm going to have to go find it, put it back in my travel bag. That wouldn't be good. I'm going to Florida next week to go to Florida and not have all the oils I need. So I will use On Guard internally. I'll just put a drop right on my tongue just to help kill viruses and bacteria. I will put like the citrus in my water. If my stomach's bugging me, I'll put a drop of digestin or peppermint on my tongue. Or if I'm feeling like nauseous, I just went to Disneyland. And it's crazy that after one ride, I'm like, oh, I don't feel great. And I used to be able to do all the rides over and over. So I like to use them internally. You can also use them topically. If it hurts, put an oil on it. As I mentioned, I'm training for a marathon. So one of my favorite oils to use is Deep Blue. That's a lot of work on your body. It's really hard. And there's always some sort of ache or pain. And so I really like to use the Deep Blue. I put it right where it's bugging me. And I can just feel my body just relax into that oil, kind of like, okay, this is a good way to use this oil and just let it just help my body soothe and heal itself, which is awesome. I also love to put lavender on if I've gotten a bug bite, bee sting, sunburn, rash, whatever it is. So I have my oils. In fact, I always have helichrysum with me because it can stop bleeding and a bloody nose on a dime. It's so good to help with that. So I always have, that's actually, if you find me with one oil in my purse, it will be helichrysum, because in an emergency situation, I know that I can show up and I can help with my oils, which is really nice. I also like to use them aromatically. In fact, that's probably the number one way that I use them in my home is I put them in my diffuser because nothing affects your mood quicker than your sense of smell. So I have a diffuser and my drawers are open. The rest of my room is clean. Just I have some drawers open, but I have a little diffuser right there. There we go. And I will put, I'm doing my master's degree right now. But I also have 4 children, and I also have, I'm running a doTERRA business. There's a lot going on, but I really like to just put an oil in my diffuser just to help calm me. One of my favorite oils is the peace oil. I will just put that in there, and it just is like so smooth and relaxing and calming. And it's just so great because I feel like I just feel everything melt away in my life. Also, if I feel like there's sickness coming on, or one of my kids is sleeping on my floor or whatever, I can diffuse On Guard, and everybody is getting that dose of On Guard to help keep their immune system strong, which is really nice. Same thing with the Breathe. I can just put some right on your chest, and it can work topically and aromatically. So some of my favorite ways to use the oils. I love this picture. Back in the day before doTERRA ran into the FDA wanting to control everything, there used to be 2 pictures side by side. There used to be a medicine cabinet filled with traditional medications. And then there's this side of the cabinet that just has essential oils in it. And basically what it showed you is how these essential oils can essentially, no pun intended, replace your medicine cabinet. And it showed you what oregano would replace, and it showed you what On Guard would replace, and it showed you what Deep Blue would replace, and lavender, and Breathe, and Digestin. And it was really cool to see what exactly these oils could replace from your medicine cabinet. And one of the things that we talked about was the benefits. And this class used to be called Medicine Cabinet Makeover. And my friend Rachel Jones actually put it together. And she went to the drugstore and she went and purchased like $1,000 worth of medications to fill her medicine cabinet, just for anything that she could think that she might need at some point. And then she took a few not a few oils, but she took several oils, about $500 worth, and said, this can replace this $1,000 medicine cabinet. And some of the advantages of this medicine cabinet is that it's not going to come with an expiration date. The oils, I think I've opened a couple of citrus oils that I'm like, oh boy, I've had this sitting out, or I've been hanging on to this bottle for 8 years. And it could be something like bergamot, or I use my grapefruit like crazy now, but in the past it's been a grapefruit that I'm like, oh, I haven't used this as much. And it doesn't smell rancid. It just doesn't smell as potent. I've actually had a wild orange as well, but my citrus oil is primarily the only ones that can expire. However, that are going to expire the quickest. However, I've been using these for 15 years, and I will occasionally find, I have oils all over my home. My kids have some in their rooms. I have them in my cars. I have them in my bedroom, my medicine cabinet, and they're all over. And so there is a time or two that I'll open it up and I'm like, oh, that's not as potent, but it's usually just citrus. Whereas like medication, if I own a medication, I guarantee you it will expire before I have the chance to use all of it. The other thing is that most medications are good for one thing. So for example, if I go on a trip and only take with me a bottle of peppermint, here's what I could leave home. I could leave home a medicine for headaches. I could leave home a medicine for a fever. I could leave home a medicine for something for my stomach. I could leave home an antihistamine. I could leave home something that would help with pain and inflammation, because peppermint could do so many different things. It's even more powerful when you mix it with other oils. But the point is that it can do so many incredible things that that medicines can't do. And so it's like, I take this little pouch with me, and this can replace an entire giant medicine bag and work super well. So I wanted to talk about a few of my favorite oils. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reach into my bag, and if there's an oil or a symptom of something that you want me to talk about, just type it in the chat and I'll talk about it. Happy to chat. We have a small group tonight, so I definitely have a chance to address your questions, which is awesome. But we're just going to play what is in Jen's bag. And I do want to keep this class to a half hour if I can, just to respect everybody's time. But the very first oil that I'm going to pull out is helichrysum. And I just talked about that. I mentioned that I will always have helichrysum with me, but helichrysum is a very healing oil. It can be really good for your skin. It can be good for viruses and bacteria as well. So this is actually, I talked about its ability to stop bleeding. It also can be good for a wound, but I also use this when I'm sick. So I use On Guard all the time, but Helichrysum is like my backup powerhouse. And I'll mix it with Arbor Vitae and lime. And I feel like we get rid of any sickness within 2 days at my house if we have a sickness. But I always have this with me because it's such a powerful oil, and it smells more gentle. It's more of a floral smell, but it can, man, will that knock out bleeding faster than anything. And I feel like, if I have an ear infection or my kids have an ear infection, I'll even add a little bit of this behind their ear, and it's incredible at what it does. It's expensive. So one way that you can purchase it is they have the roll-on bottles that look like this that have some diluted Helichrysum in it. And they let you know it's diluted. It will say Helichrysum Touch, which means that they've put, you can see the touch, this is a different oil, but it'll say touch on it, which just means that there's coconut oil in it. So it doesn't make it any less effective. It just means they've also added coconut oil, and it's going to last you longer because it makes it, instead of having a 5 ml bottle of oil, it's in a 10 milliliter. You have more oil to use. My next oil that I want to talk about is frankincense. So I love frankincense, and this is an oil I always have with me. I feel like this is the power booster to anything that I use. I love it, Karen. Helichrysum has saved us 6 to 7 trips to the ER for construction accidents. I agree. I can vouch for that. I've seen that so many times, and I love it. Frankincense, I actually use it with my Helichrysum. Also really good for your skin. I've had twins. I've had an 11-pound baby after having my twins, and I have nary a stretch mark on my skin. I have a little one, but my skin did beautifully. With my twins weighed 14 pounds and 2 ounces if you combine their weight at birth. And I know that it was also because I used my oils. I do have genetics on my side for that, but using the oils also helped. So like the frankincense is really good. It's highly anti-inflammatory. So when I'm running into, one thing I do run into when training is my knee can bug me. And if I use the frankincense internally and topically, it does help tremendously. My new favorite thing to mix it with is the birch. It's just so anti-inflammatory and has been super helpful. So I add frankincense to almost anything I'm using. This is very anti-inflammatory, very good for cellular health, and just overall so good for healing. The next oil, I have my birch. I'm talking about a little bit more obscure oils today, but birch is really good for pain and inflammation. So instead of aspirin, you could use birch. And it really does work that well. Like I like to use it topically the best. This is not the one that you would want to use internally, but you are going to be very hard pressed to find real birch outside of doTERRA. Most people are labeling wintergreen as birch and selling it, but this is such a good painkiller. For me, I really like to use it for joint pain and muscle pain. So good. Always have it with me. So next in my bag is just a basic oil, but I always like to have it with me, and that's lavender. I have found lavender to be so helpful for cuts, burns, injuries. In fact, I'm going to talk about it in conjunction with tea tree, which I know I also have in here. This is like your wound combo that's going to be so good. So the tea tree is going to disinfect the injury. In fact, you guys are going to get sick of me hearing about running, but it's my life. I get blisters between my toenails and my toe, and they hurt so bad because it's just built up pressure. So sometimes I'll pop the blister. It's disgusting, but so satisfying. But I like to put tea tree on it to prevent it from getting any sort of an infection. So I'll use that tea tree for that. And I have found that it works really, really well. So I use this to disinfect. It's good for ear infections. It's good for eye. Like if there's any sort of a pink eye going on. I have 4 children. The oldest is 14 and a half. The youngest is 8. They have never been on antibiotics ever. And in fact, I know my kids have had ear infections, but I've used tea tree on them. So, obviously my kids they're out of the little baby phase, but we've used these oils. And tea tree is a big one that I like to have in my medicine cabinet, along with lavender. So this is going to be like the cleaner. Lavender is going to come in and soothe and heal and just help you feel better. I'll talk about two more. I'll talk about Breathe. So Breathe is one of my favorite oils just for respiratory issues. So I always have that in my bag. And this is just so good to put on your chest if you're feeling stuffy. In fact, I'm going to put some on right now. Sometimes I feel like I have asthma and it's like my chest just hurts. It's like I have a side ache in my chest. This is how my son describes asthma. But I'll put a little Breathe and it just opens up those airways. It oxygenates your blood because there's peppermint in it. So it's a really good boost of something to use just to help you to feel better. So we always have the Breathe, especially when we travel. And then very last, I am going to talk about On Guard. So I mentioned I didn't have that in my bottle or in my bag. So On Guard is so good at killing all sorts of germs and it smells like Christmas. So I love it because I absolutely love it because I feel like it's going to kill germs. It's going to kill them in an airborne way. It's going to kill them if I use them internally. It's going to kill them if I use it topically. So it's really good to use the On Guard. It's probably my number one oil. I always have helichrysum with me for emergencies. If someone's coughing and sick, I'm sorry. And that's hard, but I would rather have, if there's a bleeding injury, that's why I'm going to always have it in my purse, the helichrysum. But the On Guard is one that we have on standby all the time. And you get that little tickle in your throat, works so great. So I absolutely love On Guard. So I'm going to go to the questions. Would you consider one of these you are talking about for 3 stitches on the back of my hand? Totally. I would totally use helichrysum on it. In fact, after I had my babies, the only experience I've had with stitches is, I think I had a stitch when I had a mole removed a long time ago, but when I've had babies and they've had to stitch up my vajuzel biscuit, there's a word for you. So I would get a little spray bottle and I would just put helichrysum, frankincense, lavender, and tea tree and spray down there. It was mixed with like some water or fractionated coconut oil, but it was very healing. And as I mentioned, my last child was 11 pounds. So healing did need to be done down there. So that was very helpful. I haven't had an experience with me personally having stitches, but I would totally put it around it. And no, the tea tree did not sting. I think I mixed it. It's been 8 years since I've had a baby, but I remember making padsicles. So you take like a pad and freeze it and I'd put witch hazel on it. And that it was just like more of a refreshing feeling, but the oils didn't sting because I diluted them and it worked really well. Like, so that I didn't get any infections and that things healed well. And unfortunately, fortunately, that has really been my only, experience with stitches just for myself. We've had broken bones in our house. We knock on wood, someone knock on some wood. We haven't had stitches a lot. So, or any. I don't think we've had any. So my one son is the one that always breaks things. It's exciting. Anyway, so yes, we like to have that on board. Are there any other questions about what you could use an oil on? If not, I'm going to move to, because we will record this, purchasing. So if you have not had a chance, you're going to watch me do this real quick. doTERRA enrollment kits. If you have not had a chance to get started with essential oils, you can certainly purchase however you like. It used to be that we had a one-time $35 fee. That's no more. They don't have that anymore. You can now purchase whatever you like and they'll take off that $35 and you're always going to get 25% off whenever you purchase. If you do want to get like some sort of a starter, I always recommend getting a starter kit because they discount them above and beyond wholesale. So for example, the kit that I always recommend starting with is going to be the Home Essentials Kit. And the reason I like this is what I like to have in my oil bag. Like I said, it does get raided on occasion, my traveling bag, but it has the Deep Blue in there. That's going to be for all your aches and pains. It's got Breathe, Digestion, any tummy troubles, frankincense, lavender, lemon, which is so cleansing, On Guard, oregano, which is like your powerful antibiotic, peppermint, and tea tree. So it's a fabulous way to go. If you were to buy this diffuser and these 10 oils individually, you would spend $145 more. So because you're buying it as a set, doTERRA discounts it. If you are in a situation where you're like, hey, I really don't know that I can afford or to feel comfortable spending money for a kit, you can purchase the oils that feel right for you. If you like the oils and the things that you saw on that handout, that would be the Natural Solutions Kit. They also add in their vitamins in there, which they've got your Alpha CRS, which is going to be good for cellular health. They've got your vitamins and minerals. You need vitamins, but you need minerals to help your body absorb those vitamins. It's like electrolytes and minerals help your body to absorb the water that you're drinking. And then there's E-omegas, which are really important. They've got a fabulous probiotic. Honest story, I didn't love doTERRA's prior probiotic. I felt it was a little bit dated and that there was new probiotics that had come out that were maybe better. And then when they released this last fall, I order this every month and take it every single day. And then they've got the Terrazyme, which is a digestive enzyme, which I love because it helps your body to digest, break down, and utilize the food that you're eating. So, and then it has the awesome oils that we're talking about. So it's $453 wholesale. However, you are going to be getting a fabulous selection of essential oils and products that doTERRA has, and you're saving $353. So what I would invite you to do is to go back to whoever invited you to this class, and they can help you get started so that you can get the best oils for you and at the best deal. So before I wrap things up, are there any last minute questions? As far as stretch marks, oh, I see. What did you use for stretch marks? So I used what's in Immortelle, which has like rose, helichrysum, frankincense. I can't remember everything else it has in there, but lavender, but it has like all the healing oils in it. And I did use those. And my stomach did very well. I can often be seen working out in a sports bra and people are like, I'll ask if I've had a tummy tuck. I'll get asked if you had twins, and it's like, I did. I am tall. I have a lot of torso. So there was a little bit of room for everything to share, but I do know it's because I also use it's just a combination. So are there any more questions? I will get you the recording. Shoot me an email if you want the recording to send to the people that you invited. And I will get that sent right out to you so that you can send this to your people. I just put my email in the chat. And if there are not any questions, we will go ahead and